Okay, in our last example, we are going to look at investments, the money. Okay, so what do we know? We know that this guy invested $22,000 in two accounts. The first account is going to pay him 5% interest per year. The other one will pay him 7%. The question is, why wouldn't he just put all the money in 7%, right? Because it pays more. Well, maybe they have a restriction and they told him, okay, no, you can't like put all the money. You can only put a certain amount. So he had to put some in 5%, okay? It's better than nothing. Okay, so his total interest after 1 year is 1360. How much did he invest at each rate? Okay, so in order to solve this question, the first thing we're gonna do is figure out what is it that they are asking us. Always start at the end. How much did he invest at each rate? Okay, so X would be, now the word how much is not, you're not going to change it to number because it's countable versus not countable. So with money, we're not going to say number of dollars, that we don't say that. We're going to say amount, right? So anytime you see the how much, instead of saying number, as you did with how many, you're going to say amount. Okay, it's just grammatically more correct than that. Okay, not that math people care, but what we want to be, we want to be good with grammar. Okay, so how much, we want to change it to amount. So we're going to say amount that he invested, well, at the two rates. The first rate was 5%, so that would be at 5%. Okay, so that's X. Y would be amount that he invested at 7%. Okay, and so what we are trying to do here is solve, well, first of all, we have to set up a system and then you would have to solve it maybe using Desmos, but let's first set it up. Okay, so we need two equations, right? Okay, so first of all, let's deal with this one. He has a total of $22,000 in the two accounts. So he has X in one, Y in the other, and the total is 22,000. So how would we write an equation? How would we come up with it? Well, it's not that hard. If you remember, the word total is a plus, right? So you just gonna, okay, plus is plus. That's great. So we're just gonna say X plus Y is $22,000. Yay. Okay. That's equation number one. Now, a much more difficult equation is going to be number two, but never fear, we're going to get rid of it, right, pretty fast. Okay, so first of all, let's deal with the 5% stuff. If you invested X dollars at 5%, how much interest do you get? Like, what would be, so at the end of the year, you're not going to just get the same amount that you invested, you're going to get some interest. So what is this interest? How do we find it? So let's just start with something simple. Let's say we had $100 invested and we wanted to figure out what would be the interest they pay us if it's 5%. Well, what is 5% of 100? How would you find that? So 5% of 100, that would be 0.05. Remember, how do you convert the percents into decimals? The of is converted into times and 100 is 100. Right? So to find 5% of 100, we take 0.05 and multiply it by 100. But in this case, we don't have a 100, we have X. So instead of 0.05 times 100, we're going to have 0.05X. Okay? Similarly, we're going to deal with the 7% for the other guy, right? So that should be pretty straightforward. Convert 7% to a decimal. How? Divide by 100. So 0.07. And then multiply that by y, because it's like 7% of y. So 7% is 0.07 times y. And that total interest, so total, always see that word total, that's a plus sign, and that will be equal to 1360. Ta-da! We are done, except I drew some weird line here. Okay, so anyway, this is basically it in terms of setting it up. That's all you're gonna have to do on the test if I ask you a question like that. But on the homework, you actually have to struggle and solve this thing. So let's see if we can do that. So we're gonna just type up these equations in Desmos. and have some fun trying to figure out where the heck is the intersection. So first of all, I would for sure not look at anything negative because that doesn't make sense. So X and Y should be positive, but these should be like really, really large numbers, because you invest in and you invest in like $22,000. So these are going to be in thousands. So we're going to have to like really, really zoom out. I don't even know how many times we'd have to zoom out to, ooh, okay, we'll see. So I have a touch screen, but even if you don't have a touch screen, you can just use that zoom in, zoom out thing and focus on the point where they intersect. There they are. What that tells you is that $9,000 is the amount that he invested at 5%, and 13,000 he invested at 7%. So pretty cool, right?